What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Fares Muthana. Welcome to a great edition of Good Friends, Better Rivals. It's a very special episode. I know we had our episode last night, but this season we're going to start going live after our games. Most of the time, our games are at different times because one of our teams gets picked to play game of the week every other week. So they're definitely playing at 1 o'clock. And the other team is definitely playing at 10 a.m. But today we had both teams played a preseason game. The New York Giants, like I said, were at 10 a.m., which makes perfect sense. And the Dallas Cowboys just finished their 4 p.m. slot against the Los Angeles Rams. But without further ado, thank you guys for joining us. And with me is a man stupider than salt, Caleb Ochoa. Caleb, how are you, man?
Why do you gotta be rude right out the gate?
Because you're an idiot. All right, let's continue.
I'm not an idiot. How am I
you are
an
an
idiot?
idiot. You're an idiot. You know, continue. What's up?
You're not.
All right.
Well, I just feel insulted now.
No, well, feel insulted because, bro, everyone knows Berkeley.
Nobody knows Berkeley.
Yes, there's just because you don't know Berkeley doesn't mean Berkeley isn't known. Berkeley. No, you know what? It's not my fault that you were born in New Barracks.
I wasn't born in there either.
Yeah, all right, whatever, man. New Brothels. Shout out to New Brothels. Or Brussels.
What are you talking about?
Or Brussels. I don't know. You know what I meant. All right. It doesn't matter. One of us won. The other one lost. So, loser, tell me what happened.
Oh, are you happy that you won? You're happy that you won a preseason game?
I'm just happy that I can call you a loser. But let's continue.
Does it mean anything?
No, it doesn't mean nothing.
Okay, so then what are you saying?
Because I just want to call you a loser, to be quite honest with you. I'm gonna be real.
Ass.
Yeah, I am. I don't disagree. I've never disagreed with you on that one. I'm not a good person. But you know who is a good person?
Who's that?
CeeDee Lamb, because that man got smacked on the sideline, and I would have swung on that ref. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Did you saw that? You see that?
That was.
Dude, were you scared?
I think they flagged on that play.
Huh? How scared were you, dog?
Us.
Huh?
I think they penalized us.
Oh well, yeah, because you can't stand there.
Yeah.
Because of that reason. Yeah. Yo, imagine you got a penalty and your star receiver got hurt.
That's probably the hardest he's ever got hit.
Literally, dude, the hardest he's ever been hit was by a ref. She's like, pop. But now let's actually talk about it. New York Giants were against the Buffalo Bills. The starters didn't play for the Buffalo Bills. Russell Wilson actually started for the New York Giants, which threw me off. They actually dropped it 2 hours before the game that Russell was gonna play. Art Stapleton said that Russell was starting. He had a drive, and I think it was a field goal. They yielded a field goal, but then that was it. And then it was the Jaxon Dart show for about a quarter and a half, well, 2 quarters basically, because Jameis came in the third and Tommy DeVito rounded it off in the fourth. But yeah, so Josh Allen didn't play. Trey White didn't play. Ed Oliver didn't play.
They did play. I saw them. Trey White did play.
He did play?
Yeah, I saw him out there.
Oh, I missed the first series. Yeah, not gonna lie. Play. I missed the first series.
Ed Oliver did play because I saw him playing too.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I knew Deion Dawkins played because I saw him get cooked by Abdul Carter. 6 snaps total.
Yeah, I think they had their starting defense when Russell was out there.
Yeah, so I think the first series that I missed, the defense probably played. I missed the early parts. I ended up watching the rest of the game, but I missed the early parts of the match. I hopped in.
The first series, basically Russell Wilson just checked it down the whole drive.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, overall, I'm not really, preseason is, good to drive out some kinks. I know I was making fun of Caleb earlier. The loss against the Rams really it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you wanna just like drive out some kinks. You can win jobs and play well and earn yourself a spot. But most of the time, if you're an established vet in the league, you really can't lose your job. You kind of don't because some people are going through the motions, are making sure to stay healthy, so they pull back a little, and it's fine. So the New York Giants, I think the biggest issue with me was it wasn't who played, is who didn't. And it shocks me that you had Russell Wilson out there, right? Your starting quarterback. You've said he's our starter. Darius Slayton wasn't out there. Malik Neighbors wasn't out there. And most importantly, biggest omission, Jalen Hyatt wasn't out there. Like at all. Which makes no sense to me. Unless that means he's guaranteed a spot on this team and they don't need to see him. Because I thought he was in the boat where we want to see more out of him. So we were going to play him more. Because that's what they did to Tay Banks. Tay Banks played most of the game. Because there was a chance like, hey man, what do you got? Show us something. He showed them nothing. His head didn't churn well. He didn't really, he was draped all over his guy, but his body positioning wasn't right. So they did that to Tay Banks. So I thought they were going to do that to Jalen Hyatt, but they didn't. I know why Cam Scatterbo didn't play. His hamstring. And we've been all week. It was like his hamstring was been bothering him. So of course he wasn't going to play. But more important, Cordell Flott was also hurt. Where the hell was Evan Neal?
He was not there.
He didn't play at all. He did not play at all. He was not a part of the first unit offensive line. James Hudson was a part of it. Brian Hudson was a part of it. I believe Aaron, the two guards were John Runyon and was it Aaron Steiny? Let me double check. I'm going to double check. But he didn't play. He didn't play. And I'm like, practice is practice. You're not doing inter-squad scrimmages either. So you didn't scrimmage the Bills. So you couldn't really see Evan Neal against an opponent that you can tell him, don't go easy, go after him. That's what inter-squad scrimmage is really about. It's about you unleashing you got to be restrained when you're practicing with your teammates. You don't want to injure them. So you can't really smack them and hit them, right? So inter-squad scrimmages, you can attack. They didn't scrimmage the Bills leading up to it. Like you guys scrimmaged the Rams. Yep. We scrimmaged the Bills. So not seeing Evan Neal in the game made no sense to me. It made no sense to me. I'm trying to find the starting unit that came out. Cordell Flott, Art Green, and Trey Hawkins III. They didn't really play. Biggest winners. We had some winners. I'm trying to find the opening offensive line because I don't think it was Evan. Here it is right here. The second team offensive line, that's Josh Azudu, Aaron Steiny, Austin Schlottman, Jake Kubis, Marcus Bowe. Let me try to find the offensive line, man. Because he was not. Here it is right here. Starting offensive line. Runyon Jr., Greg Van Roten, the left and right guards. And the tackles were James Hudson and Jermaine Illuminor with John Michael Schmitz. They didn't play Evan Neal at all. He wasn't injured. There was no injury speak of this week. So I don't understand that. I don't understand. You want to give him reps at guard, don't you? Live reps, right? Why wasn't he playing? He was the guy that I was watching. I was ready to go back to the tape and look at him. But why would I? Because he didn't even play. He didn't play at all. He's the key to this.
Well, there had to be an injury if they didn't want him to play.
But that's the thing. He wasn't hurt all week. There was no injury designation. There wasn't a story. Like if he was hurt, all the reporters would tell, because they told us Cam Scatterbo hurt his hamstring. That's why they kept him out. If he was hurt, they'll tell us, oh, he's hurt. He's not playing. But Art Stapleton and Dan Duggan said, I haven't seen him at all. I didn't see him. Dan Duggan, right here, the did not participate. Neighbors Dexter, makes sense. Jarius Slayton, I guess. Jalen Hyatt, I don't understand Jalen Hyatt. Evan Neal, I don't understand. Scatterbo, hamstring. Cordell Flott, banged up. Bo Collins and Art Green. I haven't heard about them two being injured either. So I don't understand about that. Andrew Thomas, of course, he's on the PUP list. He's still rehabbing his injury. So Hyatt and Evan Neal not playing makes no sense to me. Makes zero sense. You want to give them live game reps. You didn't do inter squad scrimmage. I'm keep repeating myself. So you don't have those reps that you can be like, oh, we may not play him in the game because we saw him against Ed Oliver and Landon Jackson and AJ Epinesa and that ferocious defensive line that is being revamped. TJ Sanders, Deion Walker, like, oh, we saw him in practice, so we don't need to see him in the game because we saw, but you didn't. You saw him against his teammates. That doesn't tell you the full story. It just doesn't.
The guys that were out there weren't too bad. I mean,
no, they weren't. That's the thing.
They didn't get a ton of pressure on whether it was Wilson or Dart.
Yeah, Caleb, let me tell you.
And they run blocked really well. They did have nice holes to run through.
Yeah. So Turbo Miller had a good day.
Yeah.
Turbo Miller had a good, and the screens were pretty good too. The pulling and going out into open field and blocking. They did pro. Caleb, 51 times we passed the ball. 51 times. 0 sacks.
Yeah.
0 sacks. Because line held up, and then when the line wasn't holding up, like it kind of broke down for a bit, QB used his feet, moved up in the pocket, moved away. Guess what? We haven't had that for the last 6 years because our guy was statuesque. He was 6'5". People forget Daniel Jones is a big boy, 6'5". He had some good feet, but he didn't know how to use them. He got scared and just curled up in a shell. Jaxon Dart, pocket collapses. Free rusher. He sees open space up, steps up, runs, then slides. Boom, perfect. Jameis Winston drops back, pressure coming up. Move out to the pocket. He moved left. Pump fake, tuck and run. Just basic QB avoidance from the sacks. Yeah, 51 times, it's got to be a mix and match, because not every time the line's not going to be perfect all 51 times. So you need to use your feet to make a play. You know what I mean? Dart played okay today. Yeah, he did play okay today. He did.
He had that pretty nice touchdown pass.
A little Jordan Humphrey, yeah, a little
right in front of him. Mm-hmm. Away from the defender.
Window wasn't that big either.
No, the
window was not big.
That's probably because little Jordan Humphrey's not that fast.
Exactly. So he had to fit it in, and he fit it in perfectly. It was pretty good. But he also used his feet. He showed the athleticism. I think he first go around preseason, first NFL action. He did pretty good for him.
Didn't disappoint.
He didn't disappoint. But I think the big winner though, on the overall, was Turbo Miller and Marcus Bowe. Because with Marcus Bowe, Caleb, when do you think, Caleb, an offensive lineman has a good game? When do you think it is?
It's hard. It's hard to evaluate but it's when you don't say their name.
Perfect. When you don't say their name, they don't make any catastrophic mistakes. They don't replay their reps for the Jumbotron. They didn't say Marcus Bowe's name at all. He was solid on the right side for the right side tackle. They switched him to left side to the left tackle spot for a series. They brought in Stone Forsythe as a right tackle. He also held up there. So if all things considered, James Hudson, he got a couple holding penalties. So if they move Jermaine Illuminor to the left side because Andrew Thomas's injury, Marcus Bowe can fit in on that right side. It could be Bowe and Neal on that right side. But the problem is, Evan Neal needs reps. You have to play him. And guess what, Caleb? What did I say last week? Turbo Miller. He's someone to watch out for. Different type of running back. He brings speed. Cam Scatterboo, bowling ballish. Tyrone Tracy Jr., your basic running back build. Turbo Miller, slightly slender, fast. 3 different running backs, 3 different archetypes. Scatterboo, Tracy can both catch the ball. Scatterboo actually can catch the ball better than Tracy, which makes sense because Tracy was a former wide receiver and he became a running back for a reason. I think, maybe. We don't know about that. Maybe, I'm just assuming here. But also Turbo Miller, he was here with us last year. He transferred to South Carolina, but wasn't allowed to play because of collegiate transfer rules. So then he dropped out at South Carolina and signed a deal with us. So he's basically been like kind of our development player for the past year and a half. So I think he's going to make the roster. It makes sense. Eric Gray's hurt. And when Eric Gray hasn't really done anything to warrant his job being safe. Nothing. Offensive line looks solid. It looked very good. Nothing too much to write about. We only got 1 series of the main Buffalo Bills defensive line, but a lot of those second and third team players are going to be rotated in with the main defensive line. They're high on Deion Walker. They're high on TJ Sanders. They're high on Landon Jackson. They drafted those 3 for a reason, and they didn't really wreck the game or sniff anything, really. For an offensive line that has been, for the past year, has been said, sucks. So you have these 3 defensive players. Funny enough, all 3 SEC defensive linemen. The great SEC, right? We produce NFL football players. We produce defensive linemen. Nothing. I wasn't like, oh my God, look at Landon Jackson. I wasn't like, oh my God, look at TJ Sanders. Deion Walker had a batted ball down, but that's because he's 6'7". He just stood up and was like this. You know what I mean? But I wasn't like, oh my God. You know who I was saying, oh my God, when I was rewatching the tape? Abdul Carter. Oh my God. Oh my God. Only 6 snaps. 3 of them were pass rushing snaps. Someone pointed out to me, if they were doing next gen stats for preseason games or PFF, those 3 pass rushing snaps, Caleb, 3 QB hurries, 3 QB hits. Cool, but I want a sack.
Yeah.
I don't want almost sacks. I already got Brian Burns for that. Brian Burns leads the league in. He almost sacked him. Almost. You got to finish the play. I want them in the ground. That's what I want. The defensive line depth, again, the defensive tackle specifically, I wasn't really happy. I wasn't really impressed. DJ Davison had a sack, yeah, but him and Jordan Riley and unfortunately Darius Alexander, they didn't pop. You weren't like, oh my God. They just weren't. And then, cornerback, Tay Banks played the entire first half, and there's a lot to be left to be desired for Tay Banks. You got to keep your head on a swivel, man. You got to move. You got to turn your head. You got to turn your head, bat the ball down, turn your head, get an interception. You got to turn your head, man. And it just didn't happen. But that's pretty much what happened in the game. It is preseason, and, Josh Allen wasn't playing, and, so it is what it is. Thomas Fidone bounced back pretty good. Had a holding penalty early on in the game, was taken out, and then was put back in the game. I believe he had 3 catches. Let me double check it because I think it was like either 3 or 2. It was 3 or 2. The Broncos are beating the Niners right now, so that's for you, Adelia. Broncos are winning 20-9. Let me check Thomas Fidone. Shout out to Thomas Fidone. Yeah, 3 catches, 22 yards. I don't know if they counted his catch for the 2-point conversion as a catch in those 22 yards. I don't know if they do that or not, but I think they do. But the defender was draped all over him. James Winston kind of just threw it up, and Fidone jumped up, sealed him off on the 2-point conversion, seals the defender off, jumps up and grabs it out of the air and snatches it. And you know what? If you blink, he could take the job away because Daniel Bellinger and Theo Johnson, they're leaving the door open. They're leaving the door open for Thomas Fidone. Because we know Chris Manhertz is definitely not getting cut. Because Chris Manhertz does what the other three don't. He blocks. He wants to block. He wants to hit you, and that's what he is. He's that tight end. You need that tight end on your roster. So Fidone is Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger. They're fighting for tight end 1. And if Daniel Bellinger and Theo Johnson stop messing around, Thomas Fidone may snatch it from them. Fact about Thomas Fidone, he was the number 1 tight end in the nation coming out of high school in front of Brock Bowers. But we know what happened with Brock Bowers at Georgia, and we know what he is now in Vegas. Caleb, you should know you got first row seats to that. But Fidone went to Nebraska towards ACL, and it's kind of been an uphill battle since. Can he tap that potential that people thought he was coming out of high school, even his first year at Nebraska? Can he? Maybe not. We don't know. But overall, those are my thoughts on the New York Giants preseason game. So yeah, there's nothing really much out of it. There was one series of starters, and then everyone was a backup. Yep. And we beat them 34-25. Yippee-ki-yay, woo. So it is what it is. Now, Caleb, Rams, Cowboys, they play the game after a week of inter-squad scrimmaging. You guys lost, but who gives a damn? But it was concerning that you still can't stop the run. Backup, starter, third, nobody can.
Yeah,
no one.
It was the same stuff, the same problems that we were having earlier in the week in that scrimmage. Mm-hmm. It just turned up in the game. Both the inability to the DBs were terrible. They were getting beat pretty bad in the game. And then, like you said, yeah, we could not still not stop the run. And so it's weird. Like, we have a different defensive coordinator, whole new defensive staff here. They made a bunch of changes, and yet still we have the same problems. So I don't know how that happens. But yeah, I mean, the secondary, like you said, it's because of injuries. The injuries.
Yes.
Need to. I don't understand why they keep having Andrew Booth out there. I don't understand why they even keep giving him chances. He should not be on this team. He is he's one of the worst cornerbacks I've ever seen play in my life. Said that multiple times. He is an awful
He is an abomination.
I don't know. I don't understand why they keep giving him chances, because he's never looked good to me anytime he's played. It was bad. It was bad seeing the DB play. But yeah, in the trenches, still just getting pushed around in the trenches, just like we were in the scrimmage. We see it on live in the game, and yeah, there's no push up front.
Running backs Cody Schrader, Jarquez Hunter, and Blake Quorum, they're all fighting for spots behind Kyron Williams. They were just having their way with you guys. Yeah. Having their way.
Yeah. There's no defensive tackle. Like I said, the defensive tackle is the weakest spot right now. And nobody really showed up to really claim that spot because they weren't getting any push at all. I guess the biggest thing, even those are kind of expected problems that we're going to have, like DBs and defensive tackles. But what I didn't expect is just get absolutely no pressure. I mean, we're getting absolutely zero pressure on Stetson Bennett. The reason why he did so well, the reason why he did so well is because he had all day to throw the ball. Like, he was just comfortable, relaxed, and made throws.
Pressure doesn't look good when you're against the New York Giants, huh? And Evano's not a right tackle, huh?
I guess not. I just that's the part I did not expect. I thought we were going to get a lot more pressure than we did. Nobody was getting in there.
Well, Caleb, I want to point something out. Does the loss of Dexter Lawrence
DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence. My bad. I keep thinking the better
Well, they
Lawrence.
didn't
I
play the
apologize.
starters. It's all the backups in there.
Yeah.
So none of the starters really
So
played.
you.
But
So this is.
even from the backups, like even that we have pass rushers that are still good, even backing them up, like Sam Williams or Dante Fowler or
But y'all didn't play them.
Ezaraku.
I
Not
think
the
you played
start. Those aren't the
Donovan.
start. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even the backups are supposed to be able to get pressure.
But
Because
did
they're supposed
Sam
to be in a
Williams? Did you
rotation.
play Sam Williams?
I'm not sure. I haven't
Yeah, I don't
even
think so
here.
because I think you played
But he's not a
Donovan.
starter. He's not a starter though.
Exactly, but you don't. But he's your like main rotational pass
Yeah, that's what
rusher,
I'm
right?
saying. Like these guys are going to be rotating,
Mm-hmm.
and they still can't get pressure against the second team Rams team.
But I think Sam Williams would probably get pressure against the second unit's Rams
I'm not
team.
sure if he played or not. Like,
Yeah, I don't think he played. I didn't see him, or
well,
I
maybe
guess I
that's the
missed him.
reason why you didn't see him
Oh
because
yeah,
he didn't.
maybe. The reason I didn't
I
see him
don't
is that
know.
he did nothing.
I didn't see Ezraco either, and he
Yeah.
played.
Well, also too, Sam Williams is coming off of that ACL. Didn't he tear his ACL last year?
Yeah,
Or was it 2 years ago?
yeah, he had an injury last year. But
Yeah,
that
so
was
he's come.
that was back in the first day of camp.
Yeah, and then no offense to Dante Fowler, man, but he's getting up there in age.
Yeah, he's like 31.
He's only 31. Oh my god, I feel like he's been in the league for
He had
years.
10 sacks last year.
Wow. So yeah, did he play?
I don't know.
Exactly. So either
I don't know all the pass rushers play because I didn't see any
That's a
pass
good point.
rushers. I had no idea what
It's
the
a
pass
double
rushers
sword
play.
because you don't know meaning either they didn't do nothing
They
or
did
they did
nothing.
nothing
There was a whole lot of nothing.
or they didn't play.
There was a
So,
whole lot of nothing on defense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. But now let's flip over to the offensive side, Caleb. Running back, quarterback. Actually, backup quarterback, not quarterback. Backup quarterback and running back. What were you thinking? Malik Davis played, got a lot of the yards.
Let's start with Milton first.
Yeah.
Joe Milton was really pretty bad to start the game. He was missing throws. He was throwing high. There was just no touch on his ball.
Really, Caleb? It's like someone warned you about
No,
that.
you saw the power. You saw his power.
Yeah, that's literally what I told you. You were like, "Oh, we got Joe Milton." And I was like, "Caleb, he'll throw it 80 yards, but it ain't gonna be accurate."
As the game went on, he settled in and he did start to throw more accurate as the game went on. He did, the touchdown pass that he threw was a more touch ball because he had to rainbow it in to the back of the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
So that pass he was starting to finally feel it and start to put some touch on the balls. He had a great pass to Trayshawn Holden.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he had to fit that ball in with some touch. So, like I said, as the game went on, he did start to settle in and be a little more accurate. It was just at the beginning, he was just very inaccurate. He was throwing way hard behind guys, over guys. He just could not find it.
You got one. You also got one sack. You got one sack.
Yeah, I don't even remember that sack, honestly.
It was let me see. It was by Denzel Jackson.
Yeah, not even a pass rusher. He's a tackle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Milton.
That's a good sign. A defensive tackle.
Yeah, but Milton, like I said, he was getting better throughout the game. Didn't start well. It was a rough game for him. But I still see he's played better than that. I mean, I've seen him play better. He played better in the last game of the season. He had a great preseason last year, so I know he can be better than that. So he's just working through development stages right now.
Do you trust Brian Schottenheimer to develop him?
We don't know. I don't really know anything.
Because that we can talk about, Caleb, because Brian Schottenheimer has been an offensive coordinator and a QB coach in the NFL. I just don't know anyone of note that he's helped along.
Yeah.
Like with Brian Daboll, he hangs his hat on. I'm the main reason Josh Allen is one of the main reasons Josh Allen is Josh Allen. So you have that guy. But Brian Schottenheimer has been in the league for 10, 15 years, 20 years almost.
Yeah. Mostly because all
his
the
dad's Marty Schottenheimer.
No. I would say mostly because of the teams that he's coached for all run heavy defensive teams.
Yeah. Let's double check it.
You can go back to the Jets defense, run the ball.
That's was that the Daniel Tomlinson year?
Probably. Yeah, it was Mark Sanchez years.
Yeah, 06 to 2011. Yeah, it was LT.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was
so right, yeah,
defense,
so like
run the ball. You couldn't really develop because that's just what the offense was.
here's the thing too. Chargers from 02 to 05, he had Drew Brees.
That
And
was a long time ago, though.
he had Drew Brees
A
and
long
young
time ago.
Phillip Rivers. And young Phillip Rivers. So there was that. And then
Yeah,
the Jets.
he did have Russell Wilson's best statistical years.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest bright spot of his coaching career.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
but otherwise, I don't know. I don't know if he can develop anybody.
Russell Wilson had a career high of 110.9 passer rating. He threw for over 4,000 yards for a third time in his career, passed for 32 touchdowns, set a career low in interceptions with 5. Chris Carson had 1,200 yards in the offense, ranked 10th in rushing yards per game. In the top 10 in rushing was 4th. Total yards per game, which was 8th, and points per game, which was 9th. So he was, yeah.
That's another thing that he continues to say that we're going to run the ball, and yet he comes out the gate with 3 straight passes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really understand that. Like he says he wants to be a tough, run the ball type of football team, and yet you come out passing. So I didn't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the running backs, they were up and down.
Yeah, Malik Davis and I
Yeah, it's
believe
great
Phil
that we
Maffa.
actually got a Malik Davis fan. I think we just signed him.
Just signed him. You literally just signed him. Yes.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, he came off the couch. He actually looked good. He was running all over the Rams in that fourth quarter. Phil Maffa looked good. He looked good in the first half.
Was he slow?
No, not really. He looked like an NFL running back. He was running hard. Yeah, he looked pretty good. He was one bright spot in that first half because that first half was just really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably the only one that was actually doing anything.
Did Smith and Booker play?
I don't know. I don't know what off the line played. I don't think so. Probably not.
We need an offensive line. We need to talk to a guy who knows offensive line. We need to talk to somebody, man. Yo, man, Duke Manyweather, man, respond to my DM, bro. We're trying to get bro, because like trying to get you. I'm trying to learn offensive line play, bro. I don't know what makes a good offensive lineman because I remember once where because the New York Giants won 2 Super Bowls. Caleb, can you name a single offensive lineman on those 2 Super Bowl teams?
David Deal.
Yeah, my boy David Deal.
And then the one that's the commentator guy.
Sean O'Hara, our center.
Sean O'Hara,
yeah. Funny enough, they weren't the best offensive lineman we had. It was Chris Snead, our guard. Chris Snead. Fact about Chris Snead, he's Tom Coughlin's son-in-law. So I don't know if he still is, but at drafting he was. Well, actually, he was engaged to Tom Coughlin's. He was engaged to Tom Coughlin's daughter. Then they got married. Shout out to my boy Brandon Upchurch. Shout out to you, Upchurch. Just a heads up, Dart is the real deal. I'm not an NFL guy, but I bet my mortgage on it. Dallas fans should beware. I'm about to subscribe and like. Keep up the great show. Well, thank you, Brandon. Thank you, my man. Shout out to you, my guy. You're not an NFL. Brandon, it's all right not being an NFL guy, but guess what, Brandon? This is a network.
Yeah, we do a lot of different things.
We do soccer Tuesdays, 5 o'clock Pacific. We're coming out with a basketball show, so be on the lookout for that. We're doing a sports variety show also on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. If you like betting, if you bet the NFL, Wednesdays, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern, betting the NFL with none other than your boy Caleb Ochoa. So we got you know what we are, Caleb. We are an edible arrangement. We have a multitude of fruits for everybody. You know what I mean? Pick your favorite. We're right there. Well, I guess Fares just announced the basketball show.
Did we not announce it?
Oh, my bad. Oh, sorry.
Nobody know?
Oh, sorry.
Did nobody know?
I guess no. Oh yeah, we're still finalizing logos. Yeah. My bad. I'm so sorry. But there it is, guys. We got a basketball show coming. Yeah. I am sorry. My bad, Delia. I am gonna get an earful. But yeah, so we got a bunch of stuff, Brandon. Come back and hit that subscribe button, hit that like. Appreciate you, big dog. But yeah, continue, Caleb. I apologize. I interrupted you. I apologize. Continue. Phil
No, no,
Maffa. Speak the gospel of Phil Maffa.
no. I don't know. Like I said, like I said before, he was going to get the most opportunities. I think he played pretty well. Um, but like I said, I don't know who the offensive line. I don't think any of the starters played. I know a lot of counts. I did see a lot of counts out there.
Shout out Brandon. I'm in with y'all. I did what I said I'll do. Keep on keeping on. Hell yeah, you know it. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you.
But yeah, I think the offensive line did all right. For not having on these starters. Like I said, I think the running game was pretty good. Um, and then I was surprised that they didn't put Will Greer in more. He really only came in because Joe Milton got hurt on the last drive, and then they put him in. And he looked good. He looked really good. He came in, scored a touchdown. Was throwing pretty well. And I mean, the last time we saw Will Greer in a preseason game, he went off. Like he had like
Well, 300, it's like 350 yards and like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and you guys had to cut him, but that helped him get picked up by someone else.
Yeah, we cut him for Trey Lance that year.
Who's now in LA?
Yeah.
By the Chargers.
I mean, Will Greer could make a push to maybe get a spot on the team.
Backup starter, yeah. Backup.
He just needs to get, I guess, more opportunity. I mean, I guess they really wanted to. I mean, they almost gave Joe Milton the entire. I think they were going to give him the entire game, basically. Probably because like they showed as he got more into the game, he got better. Just because he had just not a lot of experience. So they wanted to see what he got, and they gave him all the opportunity that he can handle. So we'll see. Maybe Will Greer gets more playtime in the upcoming games, or maybe not. And yeah, I just want to see if we play any of the starters because in the next 2 games, because I would like to see him get some work. I don't want to go right into Thursday night Philadelphia with no prep time. He had no snaps at all in the preseason.
Yeah,
I don't think that's.
You think game 2 you should be giving them a full quarter?
I hope so.
And then I feel like that's how it should be, right? I feel like game 1 should be a couple of series, right? 1 or 2. Game 2, you give them a full quarter, right? Game 3, you give them the first half, and then boom, you're good. You're in and out. That's always my thinking. You agree with that? You disagree? What do you think, Caleb? What do you think about that?
I think they should play all of them. Honestly, at least some snaps in all the games.
No, that's what I'm saying. So like in the first game, 2 series. So you get 2 series. Second game, you get a full quarter. Depending on how many series, like let's say you get 4 series in that quarter because your defense does like 3 turnovers because it is preseason. You know what I mean? It's a little awkward. And then in the third game, you get a full half. You get the first and second quarter full half, and you keep moving. Jackson, what's up? Did y'all see what Dart did today? Just trying to ruffle some feathers. Need a major overhaul in that front office in Dallas. Oh, absolutely, Brandon. We agree. Caleb agrees. Dart played very well.
It's just not going to happen. It's just not.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's just not because the owner won't fire the GM because the GM is the owner. Yeah. He can't fire himself. I think Jerry Jones is going to look in the mirror and say, you know what, Jerry, I'm going to give you a raise. You know what I mean? Like that's what's going to happen. He's not going to fire himself. Like it was funny enough. We do soccer on the channel. There's a Major League Soccer MLS. There's a guy named Peter Vermees. He was the coach and GM and president of the soccer team in Kansas City. 2 years ago, he gave himself an extension, Caleb. People wanted him fired. He gave himself an extension.
Yeah.
That's what Jerry does. Jerry's like, I'm going to give you another year.
I mean, they're selling hats with Fire Jerry on it.
Yeah.
All the fans are starting to wear that.
The vocal minority is no longer a minority; it's a majority, bro. They're done with it. I've been telling you guys we've been doing this show for I think about 3-4 years. I've been telling you, you guys need to get rid of Jerry. You're like, no, it's not going to happen. You're finally on my
It's not
side.
gonna happen.
It's
It's
yeah,
still
it's
not gonna happen.
still not going to
But
happen.
I would defend him because starting, I would go back and because it was bad during the 2000s. Like the 2000s era was really bad, Jerry.
With
But
Quincy Carter.
yeah, well, I would say 2000 to around 2010, 11 ish.
Mm-hmm.
I would say all the way up to the point where we started to draft off the line. That's where I started to give Gary a little credit because we started drafting off the line Tyron, Frederick, and Zach Martin. That's when I said, okay, I'll get.
Is that when you promoted Will McClay?
Um,
When did Will
it was
McClay get his position?
probably around that time.
What's he like, the
He was
executive?
always he was always he went from scout to player personnel to now like
Yeah.
vice president of personnel.
Well, Brandon talking about he knows Steven personally and he's a great dude. His pops is great, but outdated.
Yeah, but the reason, like I said, the reason why I was defending him at that because I thought, okay, now he's changing a little bit. He's changing. He's not
Draft
going
him.
after Johnny Manziel. He's not going after these other big names just to give a show. He's actually putting picks into the investing into the trenches.
You drafted 3 straight all
Yeah,
pro
so I
offensive
was defending. I
linemen.
was like, okay, we look different. We're playing better, and so I gave him some credit for that. But after he wouldn't fire Jason Garrett after so long. That's where it started. That was the first time. Okay, this is stupid.
It's time for you to go. You know what? You know what, Jerry? You know what you need to do, Jerry? You need to go back to acting. Okay. You know what? Start your acting career, Jerry. As an actor, pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
All right? It's pretty good. All right? That scene in Landman, I'm not gonna lie, best scene of the series. That Jerry, I was like, you know what, Jerry? I think you found your new calling. Do what Woody Johnson did. Give the team to your son and go do something else. Jerry should start acting.
Yeah, and then just hiring Mike McCarthy, hiring Brian Schottenheimer, just to
You could have brought back your wonderkind who left because you weren't giving him a path to head coaching job. He goes to Philly, shows you he can create an offense based around a good offensive line and a running back. And instead of saying, you know what, I want that guy, he goes to New Orleans and you get Brian Schottenheimer. Dak Prescott is more likely the problem. That's coming from an old Miss fan, though.
Well, I mean, that's not
Brandon.
true.
Yeah, Brandon. You know what, Brandon? Yeah, you're a little biased with the old Miss and Mississippi State.
I mean, if that was true, we've had multiple coaches, multiple quarterbacks. I mean, Dak's not like the only quarterback we've had the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So he's not the problem. If he was a problem, then how come the previous quarterbacks couldn't do anything?
Yeah, Tony Romo and Wade Phillips didn't work. Tony Romo and Jason Garrett didn't work.
So I mean, even Troy Aikman after not having Jimmy Johnson there. So anybody,
off?
like anybody, I'm just talking about any quarterback we've had. You can say, oh, Dak's problem. Then why didn't any of the other quarterbacks work either? So. I mean, there's been plenty of change that we've had over the last 30 years, and
the only
the one guy is the
one
constant is Jerry Jones. So
yeah, it's true, man. Jerry needs to look at himself and be like, you know what, you're fired, Jerry. He'd be like, thank you, Jerry. That's what he needs to do, but he's not gonna do. But he's an egomaniac.
Yeah,
he's an egomaniac. That's what he is. He's an egomaniac, and he won't do it. He won't do it. Like I tell you all the time, you know why he fixed the team? Because he realized how much money were y'all making in the early 2000s. How bad were y'all? Were y'all selling out the stadiums? Were people buying stuff? You guys were still doing that? Y'all were still doing that while your team sucked? Okay, that's your guys.
Yeah, but we hadn't sucked for that long. I mean, in 2000, we were like just 5 years previously, we won Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, 95. Yeah, that's true. So from like 2000 to 2007, y'all were bad.
No.
You said the 2000s.
We were bad from 2000 to 2005.
So 5 years.
Well, 1 year in 2003, we were good.
Okay.
Basically, the 5-11, the 3 straight 5-11, 2000, 2001, 2002. That was probably the worst spot.
Oh my God, 3 years? How? Oh my God. I had 6 years of Daniel
Well,
Jones.
that's because your team's awful
All
and you're
right.
a terrible franchise.
Yeah. Whoa. Terrible franchise.
You've
Four
been
Super Bowls.
bad for 15
Four,
years.
four Super Bowls.
You've been bad for 14 years.
You know what? Has it been 14? No, it's not.
You won it in 13 years.
Yes. We won in 2011.
You've been bad for 13 years.
No,
How
but
are
we
you
made
not
the
a bad franchise?
but we made the playoffs in 2016.
Okay, with some off years,
2016, we made the
that's like
playoffs.
that's like 2 years out of 13 where you've been bad.
You know what? All right.
You're a bad franchise.
Fine. You're probably right.
The only times we haven't made the playoffs is when our quarterback's been hurt.
And the only time we didn't make the playoffs was when
we didn't have not make the play. Well, at least not had a losing record. The only times we had a losing record is when we had a quarterback hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we're a bad franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, very bad. Not gonna lie to you, very bad, very bad. But that's it.
Yeah, it was a bad game. It was a bad game, or at least our game was a bad game to watch. But
as a preseason, we won. Who gives a shit?
I mean,
really?
I've seen a lot of preseason games, and that was really bad. Or at least the first half was. The first half.
Well, yeah, your first unit, your second unit, your third unit couldn't stop the run. That's a cultural problem. Yeah, and my biggest issue is I had some issues with some of the backups in the Giants game, where some of them weren't like you're a backup, right? You're fighting for a spot. Go all out. Like there was a play, right, where I think it was Mitchell Trubisky rolls out and Dawson Knox is wide open. And he, like, bro, it was the slowest pass I've ever seen in my entire life, Caleb. Mitchell Trubisky, he floats it to Dawson Knox. Chris Board, the linebacker, is about 5-10 yards away from him as the ball's being released. If I'm Chris Board and I want to make this team, I'm sprinting full tilt towards Dawson Knox and stopping him from getting a touchdown. Because a play like that puts you in the brain of your head coach and your position coach and the special teams coach who may fight for you and say, I need him on special teams because he'll be a good gunner or a good coverage man. That's my biggest issue. Don't be lazy. Like you should be like there is a play where I believe Mike White throws the ball right. He should have thrown it to the outside receiver. But he throws it inside, and TJ Moore was the cornerback. It goes through his hands. He drops the ball. You need to make a play like that because that play puts you in the mind of your position coach and the head coach and your coordinator. Be like, TJ Moore just made a play, and that's how you do it. You know what I mean? Shout out to it's a shit show in Dallas. You damn Brandon, I agree with you. Brandon again. One of the old Mrs. wide receivers is in Dallas this year. Jonathan Mingo. Y'all remember that name because he was big for the team. Yeah, he was big for the team. We also have an old Miss guy, Juice Wells. He was with Jaxon Dart last year. So we got some old Miss flavor. And you know what? Old Miss has been very good for the New York Giants at the QB position. That's all I have to say. It's been very good. The last time we had an old Miss quarterback, it yielded 2 Super Bowl victories and 2 members. You know what I mean? Huh?
You won the Super Bowl now?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But if the New York Giants win the Super Bowl this year, I told you so. That's all I have to say.
You're not even playing this year. Russell Wilson is the starter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Go Badgers. Or go. Is he a Badger or is he
a Badger? And he was in North Carolina State.
Yeah, so is a Wolfpack or a Badger? What is he?
He's both.
He's both. He made the Rose Bowl as a Badger. He lost to Oregon, though. I watched that game. DeAnthony Thomas had 3 carries. Caleb, he had 3 carries. DeAnthony Thomas had 3 carries only. How many yards do you think he had?
96.
160.
160. 3 carries?
Yeah, he had a 70-yard touchdown, a 50-yard touchdown, like a 40-yard touchdown. It was crazy. It was 3 carries, bro. And he had like 4 catches for like 80 yards. D'Anthony Thomas, I thought was going to be the next big thing. And then yeah, it didn't pan out. But on that note, Caleb, thank you so much for joining us, guys. We appreciate this. Join us this season after the games. We give our initial thoughts and breakdowns, and then we'll break down the game a little bit more on Friday after I reviewed the all 22s. So we'll know more about that because I'm gonna get the all 22 package. But there's that. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Dallas needs to draft Austin Simmons 1-1 in the next draft. Yo, old Miss fan Brandon up church. Shout out to Old Miss. Go Rebels. I hope you like Lane Kiffin. Hope they, I was really upset that they didn't do much last year. I thought they were gonna make the college football playoff. I was very upset that they didn't. That's why I was always a little weary of Jaxon Dart, because I'm like, bro, like, you guys had all the tools to make the college football playoff. You guys lost to Kentucky at home. You guys lost to Florida, and I'm just like, come on, Lane, what are we doing here? I like Lane Kiffin. I find him very funny. Because he breaks the monotony of certain coaches in college, where they're like, today, like the big, the frauds who talk about character and content of character, but really they're scumbags. Like, imagine Hugh Freeze telling you about character and being a good person. And I'm like, really? You telling me how to be a good person in my character? That's hilarious, bro. How about we talk about the prostitutes you was calling? You know what I mean? So let's calm down here. You know what I mean? I hate those coaches, man. I hate those people. But Lane Kiffin ain't that. He ain't like that. He had a lot of success early as a young coach. He got punched back a couple of times, but now he's resurrected himself and he's better. I like Lane Kiffin more because I don't think he's fake. He's very refreshing.
I mean, he's kind of fake to the Raiders.
No, him and Al Davis beefed. It was a beef between him and Al Davis. He was kind of fake to Tennessee. But that was young Lane Kiffin, because USC called, and he was like, USC's calling, bye Tennessee. Tennessee still haven't forgiven him. They still hate his guts to this day. Yeah. Everywhere he goes, if he plays Tennessee, they will throw stuff at him. They threw a golf ball at him a couple years ago. That's how much they still hate the guy. But enough about my Lane Kiffin rant. Hey, Lane Kiffin, come on the show. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
You don't think you will? You probably not. Caleb, tell them where people else can find you.
You can find me on Twitter /X at NFL22, and on Instagram as well. And you can find me on this channel doing betting the NFL when the real games start Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. And we'll be back here next week at the same time because we both play at 4 p.m.
For real?
Yeah.
Nice. Tom, I'm trying to see this box score, man. Wisconsin. Trying to see this. Oh no, scratch the Caleb. He only had 2 carries for 155 yards. 2 carries, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's insane. But he didn't catch a single. He did catch 4 catches for 34 yards, so I got that wrong. But the carries is crazy. You know how many carries LaMichael James had?
How many?
25. You know how many yards he had?
No.
159. D'Anthony Thomas had 2 carries for 155. LaMichael James had 25 carries for 159. That's insane, bro. That's insane. Shout out to Darren Thomas as well. Shout out to the Oregon Ducks. But on that note, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. My name is Fares Muthana. You can find me at Fares Muthana on Twitter. You can find us here. You can find us here every Friday. Our main show every Friday, 5 o'clock Pacific, and then after every show, well, actually after every game from this season on, from every preseason game going forward, you'll see us as well. So make sure to join us immediately after the games for our instant reactions and analysis. So we appreciate you guys for the support. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you want to add a little bit more support, join our Patreon at patreon.com/LGR_network. I just hiccuped, I'm sorry. As well as join our coffee page right there for you. Our Ko-fi page, Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/LGR_network, as well as buying us a coffee as well. We appreciate it. We also have Cash App LGRN20 and Venmo as well at LGRN20. You know, if you want to do one-time donations or monthly donations, whatever you support. But mainly, I want you to hit that like button and I want you to hit that subscribe button. Start off with that because it's free to hit that button. That's all I need you from you. But on that note, everyone, have a wonderful day and we appreciate you guys and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.